What do you say, everybody? And thank you for hanging out with us here on Elephant in the Room, Roll Tide Pods. That's Jake Coker. I'm Mick Gillispie. We love talking to you guys, part of Disrupt the Media. And let me tell you something. Alabama's recruiting has been hot. And one of the toughest things to do is to convince someone who is a legacy at another place to go to your school. Yeah, Michael Carroll, 4-star offensive lineman. And some people think he's going to be a 5-star before the end of the year. Picks Alabama today over Georgia, Michigan, and Penn State, where his dad went. This is one of those guys I've been keeping an eye on because I love those legacy guys. You know, you're talking like, blocking at home, like dad's on you all the time about, not missing this or doing this. And I had this feeling he was going to like Coach Cap, and who wouldn't, right? But congratulations, and I can't wait for him to get to Tuscaloosa.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's always good to have a guy who's had a dad that played and understands, the work ethic needed to succeed. And, usually those guys turn out to be pretty good players.
Yeah.
Especially when they have all the physical tools. They may not always be the most talented, but they seem to understand the game and understand what they need to do to be a good player.
Well, you saw Keon Russell. We were talking about this before. You said, hey, his brand is going to do a lot better in Tuscaloosa than SMU. And then he committed since the last time we did a show too.
Yeah. I mean,
isn't that cool?
Oh, yeah. But I mean, look, I just can't imagine picking, and nothing against SMU, but I mean, again, the main thing I know about SMU is the 30 for 30 that is the Pony Express.
Right.
We're not talking, and I know they were good back in that day, but
well, now they'd be great. I mean, no one would care because it's all legal, right? Yeah. Eric Dickerson, hey man, here's your car. What's the matter?
Yeah. But no, Coach DeBoer, he's, early on people were comparing him to Brian Harsin, and now they're comparing him to Les Miles. All the haters, they're just, slightly less creepy.
Yeah, right.
A lot less creepy. I love you. That's a joke. But I mean, now they're saying, oh, he's just recruiting, inheriting all this talent, which is obviously false. Well, it is true, but he lost a lot of that in the transfer portal, and
he's doing his own thing.
He's having to rebuild and do it his own way. That's right. I mean, those guys have come in, hit the ground running, and worked their asses off for 6 months they've been in town?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this, dude. I was worried that they were going to be like, hey, we can get anybody to come here.
Yeah.
So let's go get anybody. But that hasn't. And what I mean by that is that they were going to look at the local players, the people in the 300-mile radius of Tuscaloosa, and be like, hey, you know what? We're not going to worry about the in-state guys. That has been not even considered. They've gone after all the good players. I mean, they've gotten them. Like they're still holding down the radius, and then they go out and get guys like this, Michael Carroll from Pennsylvania. They go and get McDonald from California, who's part of that Mater Day pipeline, which Bryce Young kind of started. But now you got like 4 dudes on the team from that high school, which is the elite high school out west, right, to come play football at Alabama. You mix all that together, and I mean, it's a success. And they're beating Georgia and LSU and other schools for these guys. It's not like they're
number one recruiting class in the SEC right now.
Yeah,
I mean, according to the rankings.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I think if you're in the top 10, those things are generally right. But there's definitely some outliers in there that some 5 stars don't turn out, and there's a lot of 3 stars that end up being star players. So you never know those rankings, but top 10, top 15, usually pretty generally correct in who's getting the best talent.
Yeah. And winning the recruiting national championship is going to help you win the real national championship.
Oh, yeah.
And you know that. I mean, like, you were part of 2 national championships, and I think both of the schools won the recruiting national championship prior to winning the real national championship.
Yeah. Jimbo, with our class coming in at Florida State, that was the number 1 recruiting class in the country that year.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was his first recruiting class. So that was entirely his own. I mean, it's got huge implications on your team. Now, a lot less now because so many guys are moving around the transfer portal, but I still think building a foundation and a culture, has a lot to do with high school recruiting and developing guys over a course of 4 years.
Do you think that you can win a national championship in the transfer portal, or do you think that this is something that's going to have to take place with high school?
No, I don't think you can. I think you got to lay a foundation for your program with high school recruiting. You're going to have guys that are key players that are there for 4 years, just to maintain the culture and the attitude within a program. But when you miss key guys or you're lacking depth, you have guys that leave or guys that don't work out, you're definitely going to have to reach into that transfer portal and find guys to bolster those weak spots. Again, I'm looking forward to seeing what Clemson does over the next 3-5 years. Just to see how they respond to not reaching out into the transfer portal. I think that's a huge recruiting tool for Dabo. Promising these kids that he's not going to go out there and get guys out of the transfer portal. I'm not sure if he's promising these kids that or not, but that seems to be the case. And so when you got young guys that aren't looking over their shoulder all the time, wondering who's coming in, that I think that allows them to, kind of grow within the team and have some continuity within the building. It goes either way, but it's going to be fun to watch and see how that plays out.
Another guy, our friend Andrew Bone, he pestered your family when you were in recruiting. No, I'm just kidding. I love Bone. Like, I'm joking. He's the best, man. That's part of their job. They want to know where you guys are going, right? He's saying that Mal Waltrip is predicted to go to Alabama. Bone, the best in the business at doing that. 3-star offensive tackle. You see, like, hey, man, they just got Michael Carroll. I better jump on this before I miss an opportunity to go to Alabama and be part of something special. And it's going to be special when Alabama wins a national championship, without Nick Saban. I mean, the fact that it rolls on. And I try to tell people, look, Alabama was dominant before Nick Saban. I mean, they won one with Gene Stallings. They won a bunch with Bear Bryant. They won one with Frank Thomas and Wallace Wade. It's a tradition to win at Alabama. And Coach DeBoer didn't leave Washington to be second. I mean, he came to win the national championship, and these guys know that.
Oh, yeah. And these players, I think also, I think it bodes really well. We've talked about this before, but that they keep Coach Saban around to help him or to help them recruit and understand the landscape in Alabama a lot better. I think Kane Womack has a great understanding of the Southeast region, the culture down here, played at Arkansas, knows the SEC, but I think there's definitely a learning curve for the rest of the staff, and having him around having Coach Saban around to really help guide them through some questions they may have or some obstacles they may face. And then to be able to be there for the players that were recruited by Coach Saban goes a long way in terms of maintaining that foundation that he helped build, or at least build stronger while he was at Alabama.
I can't wait to see these guys win a national championship just because they stuck around. The guys that stayed, the guys that didn't haul ass because Nick Saban left, that didn't take the money and run, like that were like, hey, you know what? Like the Tyler Bookers were like, hey, I'm here, man. I've wanted to be here forever, and I'm not
Tyler
going.
Booker, Jalen Milroe.
Yeah. Malachi Moore.
Oh, yeah.
I think that, our buddy did a fantastic job of just basically taking the offense under his wing and saying, hey, I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Jalen Milroe. I mean, look, dude, he's like, hey, we're going to be just fine.
Yeah. And, there has been a lot of criticism of the transition between Coach Saban and Coach DeBoer, but you look at it now and, you'd be hard pressed to find a better transition that's taken place over the last 4, 5, 6, 10 years.
When's it ever easy?
No, that's right. But I mean, look at where we sit now. Of course, it's always going to be tough first year coaches coming in anywhere. And I have high expectations because I have a lot of trust or faith in the new coaching staff. But at the same time, you also think it's year one. You lost a lot of guys in the portal. You're putting together your schemes with a bunch of new faces that haven't been in Alabama before or in Tuscaloosa. And but if you compare it to, I mean, when Coach Saban walked through the door in 2007, we had a lot of great players, but that program had a lot to learn in terms of what it was going to take to live up to his standard. And Coach DeBoer, I don't think it'd be fair or I don't think the expectation is, all right, let's win 7 games like we did in 2007. I think I'd feel comfortable to say I think we win around 9 games, which is a lot better than what we thought going into that 2007 season.
Yeah. Well, and when we won the first national championship, and I see him out there, and he's like, "This is just the beginning," and I'm thinking, like, maybe we'll win 2. I mean, really, like I was like, like maybe 2. Like maybe there's another one in there, and he's doing the LeBron thing, and I'm like, and then you end up with 6 of them.
Oh, he won. Yeah, he won. He wins one 2 years. Just 2 years after being there, and you think, then the next one comes. You're like, all right, maybe he's probably going to get tired of this and want to go back to the NFL. I mean, sticks around and wins 7 national titles at Alabama. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. No,
it'll never be done in college football again. I just refuse to believe that.
No, his ability to focus through success is uncanny.
Oh yeah.
And I'm wondering like how DeBoer is going to do with all of the fame. I mean, you get the job and you're famous. Like you are the most famous guy in the state. No one talks about Hugh Freeze. No one like Meemaw. I mean, I know she's the governor, but I mean, people don't talk about her. You know what I'm saying? Like they talk about the head coach of Alabama football. Like,
Well, I don't know if Auburn's got the potential. No disrespect to Auburn, it just is what it is. I don't know if Auburn's got the potential to be a national brand like Alabama.
But it's a different thing, man.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I agree. I don't know if that brand has the same ceiling that Alabama does. I can't imagine them ever getting to that point, even if they do win as many national titles. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
But I mean, kind of goes. I'm starting to wonder about the women's basketball brand too. Did you see Caitlin Clark snipped from the USA basketball team, Olympic team?
Yeah, I didn't. I tell you what, man, I didn't like that.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just. Some of the stuff.
Did you see the reasoning for why they did it?
No. What
because of her fans. Her fans would be too much of a distraction for the team if she wasn't playing enough or if things weren't going the way that.
I didn't see that, but I've seen some of the stuff going on with that situation, and it's like, honestly, man, it's like I hear people try to defend some of the fouls and some of the stuff that she's doing, and it's like that are done to her, and it just has that, I mean, in a different way, but the same way. It kind of has that Jackie Robinson feel to me, man. Like where it's like, okay, you're trying to justify treating someone bad, but we know why you're treating them bad, like, and it's not right, like it wasn't right with Jackie, and it's different, but it's very similar to me.
But she does definitely get bullied out there.
I mean, it's no so obvious, man. And why else would it be? Like be happy that somebody has made women's basketball. Wait, people really want to watch this now.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I could say is that, a lot of what generates curiosity and interest is drama.
Yeah.
And so they have done a good job of creating drama within the WNBA.
Well, you watch her getting fouled. It's the ridiculous fouls. You watched him, which I love Jackie Robinson. I mean, he's one of the greats of all time in baseball. And he's just like, catching a ball at first base and somebody's running him over for no reason, or he's trying to, like they're spiking him when he slides. I mean, and then everybody's like, oh, well, that's just how we play the game. And it's like, no, it's not not how,
not quite.
You guys weren't playing it like that for everybody else. You're doing that to him. And it's not the same, but it is the same. There's a similarity there that I'm sorry that it's just there.
Yeah.
And I'm not sitting there watching women's basketball. I don't care that much, but when I see people justify bad behavior, I don't like it, and why she's getting treated like that. And come on.
Yeah, she's getting knocked around pretty. I mean, it's
how we do it here. This is how we do it. It's like, no, it's not how you do it. Like, there's one that she's just standing there and somebody just runs up and just plows her over, The jealousy for Jackie Robinson was that way too. I mean, when he came in and played Major League Baseball, it opened the door. Just forget about the fact that he was a trailblazer, but it opened the door for a lot of other really good players to get an opportunity. People didn't like that. He also opened the door to a whole new audience, and people were watching baseball for the first time, Major League Baseball, that didn't watch it before because they weren't letting Jackie Robinson and other black players play. And then all of a sudden now you got this whole new fan base and you got this popularity going. And it's like, okay, we look back now and everybody wears 42 and we kind of appreciate what he went through. But when he was going through it, they weren't taking up for him. Yeah. It's like, oh, you know what? Hey, that's how we play the game. We spike people when we're running. We step on the first baseman's feet, like, no, you don't, like, I see these videos and I'm like, man, come on, man. Like, that's not how, not that. And I could be wrong. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not like I'm watching 100 women's basketball games, but I broadcasted women's basketball in college for years, and I've never seen any of that stuff. I've never seen somebody just standing there and then somebody runs over and trucks them. Yeah, and then looks at them like, hey, my bad. Yeah. Her teammates ought to be ashamed of themselves for not getting her back. That's the thing that bothers me the most. The
teammate that just walked over.
Yeah, and just like, oh, hey, you know what? Yeah. I'd kick that one off the team. Get out of here. If you're not going to get her back, then get out of here. And that's like the same thing when your quarterback gets sacked, and you've been through this. You get crunched, and then
there's a play again.
The guy describes the football and leaves you like crumpled up.
We're playing Michigan State, and I got hit after I threw the ball, and the flag comes in, and Ardarius just couldn't get there in time, and so I get up, and I'm like, God dang, and all I hear is Ardarius just dropping every word in the book at this D lineman just for hitting me high, It's like Ardarius, the ref's like, all right, I'm about to throw a flag on you. I'm like, no, just stop.
Yeah, right.
I appreciate it, but we got to chill out.
Yeah, right. That's what teams are supposed to.
I mean, had more appreciation for that than you could ever imagine, and it's one of the reasons he's one of my favorite teammates I've ever had.
Yeah,
just one of those guys that would run through a wall for you, but. Yeah, I saw Matt Barnes. He was, Matt Barnes, old NBA player.
Yeah.
He's like, the people on her team. I mean, what are they? Her teammates. That's where the issue is.
The issue is this: is that
at this point, with what we've seen, there should be fights. Every quarter.
Go get some players that have enough guts to go stand up for her, because she's the reason why y'all are about to get paid.
Oh yeah.
Because when they always complain about
protect your asset.
Well,
protect your teammate, your friend, and then protect the asset.
Women's basketball has been complaining about that they don't make any money, because the reason you don't make any money is because nobody cared. Now they care. And then you got, players on the other team that are taking shots. Yeah, man, just appreciate the fact that somebody is playing basketball and women's basketball that people care about.
What has she done? What has she done to?
I don't.
I mean, outside of just being a hell of a basketball player,
is that she looks like like a Larry Bird chick. I mean, you know, like
yeah,
she just looks like she doesn't look like she's supposed to go out there and make plays like that. You know, like she just doesn't look like a great athlete, but neither did Larry Bird, you know. I don't know. I guess that that she kind of captured the imagination of the public, you know, with the battle with her and Angel. And I heard Angel say, "Hey, I'm part of this," and I didn't disagree with that. You know, Angel, every hero needs a villain, you know, and she's kind of played that villain role. And she's right. I mean, like if you're just talking about the money part of it, like, so you're right. You got to have that, you know.
Yeah.
But Angel won the national championship, so
yeah,
she got her job done too, you know. And then when they played this last year, everybody watched the game.
I watched that game because of the feud that happened last year. So she was a part of it. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. And I mean, you know, Angel's a good player too, but let's not try to pretend we're not seeing what we're seeing. You know, it's like that's the part of the whole thing that's just kind of like, okay, come on, man. Like we all know what's going on here.
Yeah.
It's obvious. Like we can't pretend. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I don't know. I know exactly what's going on. I know why you guys don't like her. And we've seen this before. And it was terrible the last time we saw it. And, you know, are we all going to wear, you know, her jersey number years down the road? Maybe. I don't know. But it's never good when you single somebody out like this. And that's what I think's going on. I really do.
Yeah. I mean,
are you watching those games though? Who would have ever thought you'd be interested in the Indiana Fever?
Too. I mean,
is it the Indiana Fever, the Indianapolis Fever?
I think it's the Indiana Fever. But I mean, tell you what, man, if college baseball isn't on right now, there's not a whole lot to watch.
I know we're about to be done with that. And how about the college baseball? Been pretty fun to watch.
Pretty good.
The SEC's like getting it done, man.
Oh yeah. I was hoping Evansville would pull it out last night. Be my Cinderella.
Let's talk about that Evansville, Tennessee series. So Evansville was the last team in, according to the people I talked to, and they actually beat the number 1 seed. So that could be the greatest upset in the tournament's history. No, like they were the 4th seed in their regional, right? And then they beat the number 1 overall seed in Tennessee. Now they didn't win the regional, but just crazy to think that you could just go get, you know, a group of guys and beat Tennessee. Might win the national championship.
That's my whole point about guys that may not be the most talented, but you should at least be able to consistently win games with good, sound, high character players and good coaching. I mean, it doesn't take all world guys to win on a consistent basis.
Well, you get a good pitcher and you can beat anyone, but it's not like that. I mean, they were down 4-0 in the game they won and came back and won it, you know, so they just outslugged Tennessee. But Tennessee, Kentucky got in, Texas A&M's in, Florida. How about that Florida series against Clemson, man? You talk about
12 innings.
Wow, man. I think it went 13.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was 13 innings.
And Florida like beat them, and they're in the World Series, and that was at Clemson. I was broadcasting Alabama
unranked.
What's that?
Is Florida unranked?
I don't know. But the last time Alabama had a legitimate chance to go to the World Series, we played. I was on the call with Chris Stewart. We went to Clemson, and it was one of those deals where Clemson didn't host. And we didn't host, right? So we went to Georgia Tech, and I don't know where they went, but we both ended up winning as like not the number 1 seed, right? But Bama hadn't like built the facility up yet, so it was a crap, you know, it was that crappy Joe Soul before they fixed it up, and we didn't put the bid in to like, you know, because it's all about money. So we had to go there, and we ended up losing, you know, and that is the closest that Alabama's had to go back to the College World Series since they went in 2001. And now I want to say that was like 2010 or something. I mean, it's been a long 2011. It's been a long time, you know. And to think that Evansville had a team that was a game away from the College World Series, and Alabama hasn't been a game away from the World Series since then. Gives you an idea of like why I was so critical of these guys last week, because you got to fight, man.
Well, that was most disappointing part of watching it all, because you can watch a team and still feel excited about the perception that they put off within a game. I mean, even if a team's down by 4 runs, 2 touchdowns, whatever, I mean, you still see if a team's got it in them, to fight back and win. I mean, when we played Clemson in 2015, I'll never forget, each team we played that year, you always felt like they were done.
Right.
Like, even when we played Ole Miss, I felt like, I mean, we were, kind of hitting our stride in the second half. And if there was another quarter, I think we, win that game. But man, Clemson, you never felt like the game was over until, that last knee. It was like, whew, man. Thank God that's over, because I mean that would have been a dogfight we'd have been playing that game for 12 hours. I mean, nobody would have quit. You see teams, you see the way they play, and you get a real taste of what they're made of.
Right.
And I don't know. You just watch the body language that we had out there, and you could just tell we were ready to go home.
I'm just ready for Bama baseball. It's not about the winning, but it's just the way, like LSU lost to North Carolina, but the way they fought.
Oh yeah, that was respectable.
Yeah,
you could respect that.
Bama baseball's got a long way to go. It just does. Like it's not even the results. It's like you said, it's the way you represent. It's the way you play. You wear the brand. It feels like a bunch of travel ball guys that think they're entitled to this nice locker room and this great stadium. Y'all haven't won anything. Like, I'm just going to tell you right now, this program has not won anything since Jim Wells was the head coach. I mean, that's going back to my day, back in 2001. Like, the last time that Alabama did anything, like got to the College World Series. And then Mitch was there and they got to Clemson. They haven't gotten close. Last year, they got to a super regional, but I never felt like they really had a chance to get to the World Series. And who cares? I mean, but if you're going to go wear that uniform, you should wear it with pride, and you should be out there scrapping and fighting. And that's just not what's going on. And then Rob Vaughn, you got a lot of work to do, because Alabama's about to have Texas and Oklahoma come into the conference, and you guys aren't, if you think finishing 7th in the regular season's a good season, then you're at the wrong place, man. Yeah. Finishing in the College World Series is the way that you should be striving. And I don't feel like that's the case.
Yeah. I don't know. This is maybe, just getting a little bit older, and you feel like the culture has changed a little bit, as in kids don't realize the work that goes in for a lot of other people just to get you a scholarship, and these donors that work their ass off just to give money so that you can have a better experience. There's a lot less appreciation from kids, especially, and this NIL stuff doesn't help at all.
Yeah.
But just to understand, the amount of time, effort, work from so many people across the state that support you to give you a better experience. I think it's taken for granted a lot of times when you go out there on that field or on that practice field or in the weight room. Just what took place just to allow you to have a scholarship.
Yeah, right.
And a coach taking a chance on you when he could have given it to somebody else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think when you go out there, and I mean, it's really every phase of life, but, in my college experience, sometimes I took that for granted, but, I mean, you need to go out there and just remember what it took to get you there, and the people that sacrificed so much just for you to have an opportunity to do something like that.
Baseball is a travel ball game. Mom and dad are, spitting out all this money for you to go around and get a ring at every tournament you're at. And, like, you think you won a championship because, you won the Lincoln round ball challenge, or whatever. It's hard to get it. Like, I got to give LSU credit, man. Like, to be that, like, they had to really fight their ass off this year. But then when I see them in the tournament, like, I'm like watching these guys and I'm like, man, these guys, like in their minds, their expectations are we got to get to the World Series.
Oh, yeah.
And they were pretty damn close to doing it.
And they believed it. You could tell.
Yeah.
I mean, only the thing about that game, I just knew. I was like, man, 2 runs isn't going to be enough.
Yeah, right.
The whole time.
But you know what, though? It wasn't like you're down 4 to Stetson and you got your head in your ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
You're right.
Oh, God. You know, like we lost the first game, so we're going to lose this game. Like, come on, man. Hey, let me remind you guys that the show's brought to you by MyBookie. We've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino canceled because real life came calling. MyBookie and their new improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action is in your hands and you don't even have to wear pants, which I feel like that's directed at you. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code NEXTROUND, and a revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. The more you play, the more you win with MyBookie. Yeah. All right, well, hold on a second. Let me ask you one question. So this basketball program is elite, but how elite is this? I want to just kind of just ask you this right here. Just kind of looking at this. Michael Schwimmer's analytics consultant for Nate Oates told Ryan Fowler last week that Alabama projects as college basketball's 3rd best team in the last 20 years.
Who's the top 2? UConn from last year?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just telling you, like, there's two that rank above them.
I thought you were going to say 3rd best team.
No, in the last 20 years.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Think about this. Like, and when you look at it, it tells you, I want these guys to win the national championship for all the guys that hauled ass and left. You know, for Rylan Griffin, who went to Kansas. I want him to win it for Nate Oates, who could have gone anywhere in the country, and he's stuck by Alabama.
Well, I want him to win because of Nate Oates.
I love Mark Sears. Oh, I love Mark Sears, man. And Mom. Mark Sears and Mom.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That combo is like that. You could sell anything with those two.
Oh, those two will have to be. That's the kind of coach-player relationship that they'll be. I mean, like this for the rest of
their and
lives,
Nate Oates too. I meant Mark Sears and his mom, but
I meant Mark Sears. And
you
Nate
meant
Oates.
I know you did, but his mom is so marketable too.
They'll obviously be.
You know what I mean? Like she's marketable. He's marketable.
She needs an NIL deal.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like I think everybody's so in love with her. I don't know what just fell on me. You keep talking. I think something crawled on my foot. I smushed him. That hasn't happened a lot. We haven't been in the studio for a while. It's a weird feeling when you're like, okay, something's crawling on me right now. The vacuum's out here. But, I mean, Stevenson's back. Grant Nelson's back. The guys that they added, Amari having the big man. I think they're going to be more physical this year. I think they're going to be a team.
That's all we were missing last year.
Yeah, right. Plays defense, but I mean, do you think they're that elite though? Could you put them in that same category?
About those guys that left, I mean, when you look at it now, I mean, it might not have been a terrible, it's kind of hard to blame them because the minutes that they'd get, I mean, they'd be lucky to be role players with the talent coming in this year.
Right. And that could be part of it. But before they left, though, they wouldn't know that. I think they were just trying to you think that they knew that?
I mean, to me, it says they knew what Nate Oates was about and that, I mean, they fear what talent he's going to bring in. I mean, a lot of guys are saying he's I want to say, was it Rylan Griffin or was it somebody else said that he's the best coach they've ever been around, bar none. Like he's going to win a national championship. It's going to happen. I mean, I never heard anybody say anything negative towards Nate Oates, and Nate Oates might have had an honest conversation with him. I mean, hopefully he did have an honest conversation with him, and that's why they left. That would say a lot about him. I mean, it'd be one thing if we were just gutted and didn't have anybody, coming in to replace that talent that was departing. But
right,
man, I tell you, they've been, and I hate to say this, but in terms of talent, I mean, we'll see how they mesh next year. But I mean, the talent's been replaced, and maybe more so, definitely more so than we had last year.
Yeah. Oh, look, I mean, I know they made a run. I'm glad they made a run last year because it was awesome, but they didn't have
what's his name? It went to Arizona last year. Or was it?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, yeah.
And Alabama makes it the Final Four. They get beat in the Elite Eight, I believe. Now they did beat us in the regular season, but I'll take the Final Four over a regular season loss any day, or a regular season win.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I just love the idea that that this team comes in with the powers to be able to go out there and get it done, like to win a national championship.
Well, it's going to be, we played UConn the Final Four this year, and everybody, you felt that talent discrepancy in the Final Four, right? I mean, we go in and we were kind of like, honestly, we're happy to be here. Whereas next year we're in the Final Four, we expect to win. And that's a lot better feeling than going in, feeling like a lamb.
Yeah.
Just getting sent out to slaughter.
Right. Well, we'll see what this team's able to do. But
even though we lost by, 17 points? I mean, that game was a lot more intense and close than what it felt like.
Yeah.
Because of the effort they put in. And I mean, it was what I wanted to see from our baseball team.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. It's not about the winning. It's, they used to say, like, it's not winning and losing, it's how you play the game. And I really do believe that, man. I think what you mean by that is go out there and give it a great effort.
Well, you can tell when a team gets more out of themselves than what their talent should allow.
Yeah, right.
And that's what you felt like when you watched that Alabama basketball team.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we're not the most talented team in the country. UConn was obviously the most talented team in the country. And we may have beat some teams. I mean, North Carolina, if you just line both teams up and look at them, I'm probably like, okay, North Carolina's, I mean, they win the eye test. And then we go out there and figure it out. Mark Sears carries us through with his leadership and shot making ability, and Grant Nelson shows up and plays that big dude like we've never seen him play before. And all of a sudden we're headed to Elite Eight.
Yeah.
Just that's what you want to see.
Yeah.
Guys showing up in big moments and playing their ass off.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Wearing that uniform like you're like you said, you guys are playing in the championship game and you're more worried about just being the guy that lost the winning national championship streak than anything else. You just didn't want to be the guy to let everybody else down.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
that's a lot of pressure to put on yourself.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I can only imagine and it is. I mean, it's true. My life would be a lot different had we lost that game.
Man, I know.
It definitely would be.
What if you lost that game? Like, what do you think?
I don't know. We wouldn't. I highly doubt we'd have the Elephant in the Room podcast.
That's what I was thinking. I was going to say the same thing. No, man. If we lost that game, it wouldn't have been because of your performance. I mean, that was a classic. It's one of the greatest games honestly, man, I've told you this. Like, I filled in for Chris Stewart on basketball when Alabama and I think Amari Cooper beat Georgia in that classic game in Atlanta for the SEC championship game. And I'm coming back on the plane with Brian Passink, and we were down 10 when we took off.
Mm-hmm.
So we were leaving, I think, Cincinnati. And I'm like, okay, so we lost like
No, yeah.
Because they didn't have internet on this plane. It was a charter plane, but back then we didn't have internet. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like trying to like cope with how we lost, dealing with how we lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we start coming down out of the clouds, and somebody's phone worked. It might have been Passings, and he's like, "Hey," and he hates Georgia, because he's from Georgia and he didn't go there. We got the lead, with like 44 seconds left, It's like we're trying to refresh,
Yeah.
So we win the game, and then I see the game, and I'm like, man, I love going to Alabama. That was when I went to all the games, if I wasn't working, I went, And so I always wanted to, I missed that. And that was always the one that was the one that got away,
Oh, yeah.
So then I went to your guys' national championship game, and that was like the same type of heavyweight boxing battle, that we won.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's one of those games. I mean, I know I was exhausted playing it, but I mean, one of those games, even if you're sitting there watching on the couch, I mean, you're exhausted by the end of it, just because it's, I mean, one punch after the other from both sides, and guys just taking it, moving on, keep playing. Like, again, when I take that last knee, I'm not kidding. It was just like that team never quit. Clemson had there never been a clock and we had to play until somebody tapped out, I mean, there'd have been guys dead on the field. I mean, it's just the amount of intensity on both sides. And that's how I knew Dabo was far more than just a great mind. I mean,
he did a great job.
He gets guys to play. Buy in and play hard for him.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. I love Dabo. I know people disagree with me on that because, he won some national championships, lost one against Alabama. We beat him. It's been about an even split against them, but, I like Dabo. I really do. I don't want him to beat us, but I mean, it's not going to be
there
us.
may be people that think he's a little goofy. I mean, you watch those TikTok videos and
his dancing skills are terrible.
Man,
and then running down that hill like he does. But you know what, man? I'll tell you what I respect about him is that if you only had two guys jump in the transfer portal, man, you're doing something these days, man.
Yeah.
You're doing something because that's not how this world works anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think he's a coach that every player on his team probably has a pretty good relationship with him.
Yeah.
I mean, he just seems to be that. I mean, the guy you see in interviews, just a stand-up, high-character guy. I think that's what you get in everyday life with him. That's what I've always heard, and I mean, I think he may not do everything right or the way that everybody wants him to, but in terms of doing the right thing, I think that's his intention with every decision he makes.
Yeah,
and it's hard not to respect that. I mean, not using the transfer portal
that's crazy,
that's
right?
a hell of a, standing by what you believe in and doing things the way that you think are right. I mean, that's showing everybody in the country that's the guy.
Yeah,
that's him.
Yeah, no doubt. Guys, I want to tell you what's us is Rhoback.com. Father's Day's coming up. My birthday's this week. Apparently, rumor has it that there might be some Rhoback gear coming my way. So you got Father's Day coming up. Maybe you got some Rhoback. Day? It's Sunday. And our promo code is Room 20, and from what I hear, it works. So you guys take advantage of it as well as we hang out. Get in the comments section, whether you agree or you disagree. Like, what we're here to do is just talk sports and have a lighthearted conversation, but honest conversation about what we think. We want to hear what you guys think as well. And we appreciate all of you guys for hanging out with us and being part of this. And I've actually heard other people like that are Rhoback fans like, hey, man, I love the fact that you guys have a code. And I shouldn't say this, but I didn't realize how popular Roback was.
I've been seeing them everywhere,
dude. Every time I turn around and
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, guess what, man? If you're gonna buy another shirt, room 20, get you 20% off. Great gear though.
Oh yeah, man, they make some clean shirts. I wore that Alabama one on Friday.
Oh, you broke it out,
Oh,
did you?
yeah.
Where'd you go?
The Colin McGuire Endowment Tournament.
Okay.
Alabama Scholarship Tournament. So
there you go.
So they call him Big C, and he used to be an equipment manager at Alabama.
Yeah, I love those equipment managers.
Oh yeah. He knows.
Just looking at all my stuff I got from the equipment managers.
No, he knows. He's got all the stats figured out. He knows everything. Everything about Alabama football.
Tank and Red, they were my guys.
Oh yeah, he always every time I see him, he always asks me about. It's kind of a backhanded question, but he doesn't mean it that way. It's just how he asks. He's like, "So what was it like handing off to Derrick Henry?"
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, pal. Man, Derrick Henry in that purple and black is beautiful.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I can't wait, man.
I wish they just need to bring Mark Ingram back for one more year.
Yeah, he already played for the Ravens. We've had them both.
That's why I said bring him back. How awesome would that be?
Yeah.
You got Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram in the same backfield.
Let's go to one of his games. You think we could get his autograph?
I think we could make that happen.
Might be able to.
Yeah.
Hey, it would be great to seriously, it would be great to go see a Ravens game. I don't know. I don't even know if they're playing Atlanta or Tennessee or somewhere close, but man, Tampa Bay, New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
Have you gone to see him play in the NFL?
Man, I haven't been to an NFL game.
Let's go, dude.
I can't remember the last time I went
to an
NFL game.
Let's go. Let's do it. I would love to do that. I think he's going to have a big year.
Oh, I think so too.
Because he's not going to have to carry this team.
I was about to say, yeah. I mean, him with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they got Tyler Flowers. They got a bunch of guys like Mark Andrews. Like they got a bunch of guys that can make plays.
And they talk about NFL running backs not lasting very long.
Yeah, he's a beast.
I just the way he's built. If you've never seen Derrick Henry before, I mean, it's a different kind of big, long, and just massive. I say Cam Newton's I don't know. Him and Cam Newton are pretty close in terms of physically impressive people. Derrick's a little more stout. I mean, Cam was a little bit more limber. Obviously had to throw the ball. But I don't know if Derrick's ever really been hurt playing football before.
I mean, he's had like weird and like it's broken toe or something.
Yeah.
But not
like a torn ACL.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's been like, man, somebody stepped on my toe.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you saw him lift weights and move and just see how big he was, I cannot imagine trying to tackle his ass. When he's got you. I mean, 1-on-1.
Right. Yeah.
In a hole,
right.
You got to meet him. I mean,
have fun, guys. Have fun, Steelers.
You know how I said the last thing I want to do is let my team down?
Yeah.
If I had to meet him in the hole, I might turn around and say, sorry, guys, I'm letting you down.
Yeah, right. Here you go. What do you remember about him as your teammate? And, we talk about Bryce Young. I still think Bryce Young's the greatest Alabama player, but every time I say that, there's a lot of other answers. Like Bryce Young was amazing at the quarterback spot, but Derrick Henry was amazing at the running back spot and won a national championship running over people. And, and in a day and age where when I was a kid, Emmitt Smith touched the ball 30 times in a game.
Yeah.
And then they stopped that. They have 3 guys that would touch
the ball.
Everybody got hurt. And that was the best thing that happened to him because he was a guy that needed to touch the ball. Right?
He carried the ball. I want to say one game we played, he carried it 45 times.
Yeah. Was it against Auburn?
I think so.
I hope it was because I loved that game.
Well, the thing about
my friend Ben was going to cry when we were losing at halftime. And I was like, dude, football's a long game.
Oh, well,
And I told him that. I said, dude, it's a long game. Like, they're not going to want to tackle this guy in the fourth quarter.
oh no. I mean, I remember the knock on him coming out of college that I heard, through TV or whatever, was he wasn't agile in the backfield. So, he's not going to be able to shift and hit the hole if there's chaos in the backfield. I was like, dude, you give him the ball enough and it's not going to matter. Like, you can't stop him. If he gets the ball 30 times a game, he's going to score probably on 2 of the 30 handoffs you give him, an explosive score. So,
Yeah.
I mean, just physically, you can't contain that size and athleticism that many times. It's just not going to happen. Guys can't. It takes more than one guy to tackle him. It's just numbers wise, you can't defend Derrick Henry well enough. I don't care how good a coach you are. I don't care what kind of scheme you write up. I mean, and eventually you're going to have somebody in the NFL that can throw the ball pretty damn well. So, I mean, you just can't defend everything. And I mean, he will just lean on you till you break.
Yeah.
He's just more physical than anybody I've ever seen.
When
we were playing Ole Miss, there was a ball. I think I threw it hot to him in the flat one time, and it was him in the corner. And I was just watching, and he had the first down was a done deal. The DB he was past the first down marker. And I was just kind of wondering. I just remember wondering what he was going to do, And he didn't try to break that tackle. He didn't try to get around him. It was like he put a crosshair on that guy's chest, and he hit him so freaking hard. I just remember not many times you feel sorry for somebody you're playing, but I was like, oh my God, that guy. I mean, it was like watching somebody get hit by a train.
Yeah, right. It's like those wrecks at Talladega.
Oh yeah. There's twice that's happened.
Yeah.
That play. And I remember there was a time Derrick Henry reverse field, and I told you the story.
I don't know. You might have, but let's hear it again.
Field, and I'm just trying to get out there and block somebody. At least get in the way, do something. And I see Ben Boulware. He's trying to get around me and find a way to get to Derrick. And all of a sudden, I mean, it's like just a flash of white comes out of nowhere, and Boulware just disappears. And I'm like, whoa! And I hear, he's grabbing his arm like, holy shit! And our Darius gets up, he's talking trash. I was like, oh my God, he's killed a guy. And Ben was okay. I mean, but I mean, I'll never forget just. Because he had no idea it was coming, and Ardarius came in there like a missile.
Yeah.
I mean, just violent. And
would that be a penalty now?
I mean, I think it was technically a penalty back then.
Oh, it was, yeah.
I guess they just didn't see it, or it was really clean. But
yeah, right.
That was the only time I was like, "Oh." I mean,
sorry about that, pal.
Yeah. Thank God playing quarterback doesn't open me up the blind sides like that.
Yeah. What's the hardest you ever got hit? In the pocket, not running the football, but where you're back there trying to throw the ball and somebody just smokes you.
I mean, Arkansas is pretty bad. Ole Miss at the end of the game, I threw that interception. I got the wind knocked out of me, so I didn't really get hit all that hard. It was just the wind got knocked out of me. But Arkansas was probably the worst in terms of just the volume of hits.
Yeah, right.
And there was a play on the goal line down there early in the game. I remember trying to throw to OJ, and I got hit, and I was laying on the ground like, oh my God. Well, LSU, that was probably I was running the ball though.
Yeah, that didn't count.
Had a play action pass. Everybody drops. Everybody drops out to.
It wasn't one of the small number guys.
Well, everybody drops in the coverage. They just didn't fall for it all. I'm like, oh shit. And so I just
look out.
I take off running, and Deion Jones comes. He's hauling ass, and I just lowered my shoulder and closed my eyes. And I remember I felt a hit on my shoulder, and I just it was like I opened my eyes back up, and I was still on my feet, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So I keep running. It's just a wall, yellow helmets. I'm like, oh man, here we go. closed my eyes again, and I just remember opening them up. I was on the ground, and I'm just looking up, and here comes Dominic Jackson, and he reaches out and grabs my hand, and he pulls me up, and he grabs me by the shoulder pads, and he says, I look at him, I just go, whoa. he goes, huddles this way, buddy. And then the next play, I was supposed to roll it right and throw to Calvin, and he was open, and I throw it right in the ground. And I was like, man, there's something not right.
Yeah, right.
And I get back to the sideline, and it's starting to hurt. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, but we got to figure something out. So halftime hits to get the MRI.
What was the score?
I think it was 10-10 going into halftime or something like that, and or 13-10 because
it was close.
Adam hit a long field goal, but they ran it real quick and had a separated shoulder, and got doctored up,
popped it back in place
with the good stuff,
a little needle action,
and went back out there and
threw a lot of 5-yard passes.
There was nothing left.
Still won. Well, you guys won convincingly, right?
I think we won like 31-16 or something like that.
Yeah. Did you hand it off?
Fun game. I did.
Yeah, it's like, here we go.
That third was like, fourth quarter, we had the 4-minute drive, to run the clock out, and like we had a naked where I had to run out and either throw it to OJ or an over route, a flat route, and I'm running out there, and I'm like, shit, I can't, just trying to figure it out, and thank God, I had a flat player, and I just ran at him until he got in my face, and I just tossed it at OJ. He ended up getting the first down, but thank God that was the only time we had to throw on that drive.
I honestly, like, we hit that 88 days to the start of the regular season, and it was a lot of you and OJ.
Oh yeah,
it's like a holiday.
There's a lot of one game too.
Yeah. It's a lot of holidays. Like here's Jake to OJ. No one covered him. Why didn't anybody cover him? Did you notice that?
No, yeah. I mean, pre-snap, I was like, man, that corner's down, safety's on the hash. I was like, he's got a lot of ground to cover. And I get it, and I fake it, and I see the safety's not moving, and I thought the corner was deking me.
Yeah.
And then safety doesn't come off the hash, corner stays low. I was like, oh, my God, they're just, all right, and just throw it, and he's wide open.
Yeah.
And then kind of similar, that the boundary corner on the next play is, that safety rotates down, and I was like, well, I might have OJ up the seam here. And I get the snap, fake the handoff, and that corner stays outside. The safety didn't really have anywhere to go. It was one high, so he wasn't coming down. And he stayed up the middle of the corner, kind of tripped, and I was like, oh, shit. And just remember throwing it inside, because if the corner recovered at all, maybe he makes a play, and threw it kind of early, and I was thinking, OJ wasn't turning around, and the ball's in there. I was like, turn around, OJ, turn around. The ball's almost there. He finally turns around and runs inside and catches it, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Beautiful.
I can't imagine how bad it would have sucked though if I've thrown that.
Right.
OJ hadn't turned around, the ball hits the ground, and he's that wide open.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Well, you guys won it all.
But don't have to think about that much. Thank God.
No, you guys won it all. And honestly, it's like, I still think it's one of my, just as a fan, one of the great seasons.
But it's harder. I swear, in your mind, it's almost harder to throw it to a wide open guy than it is somebody, covered.
It's like in baseball, like, you make like a great diving play on them, like a quick, really hard hit ball. And then you get up and you're like, man, I got too much time. Like, like, $1 million stop, 5-cent throw, Why does that happen? You're almost better when you got to hurry, because you don't have time to like let the wheels turn. Like, you just like throw it.
Yeah. You think, let me make sure it's as catchable as possible instead of just throw that thing.
Yeah. Well, dude, I think we covered it all today. I think this was a good show. Got to give you credit. Like coming in, we haven't been in the same place
I know.
for 2 weeks. And then we come back in studio and it's like we haven't missed a beat. It's nice being back home. I got to tell you.
The boys are back in the circus.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready. And look, I don't want to talk too much about this, but I'll tell you guys right now, there's a new show coming. You got one of these?
He's already got the.
You got one of these?
I need one of those.
Oh, you got to have good friends to get one of these.
Hang on, let me take a picture of that. I got to talk some shit.
Oh, Ryan Anderson's going to be doing a show soon too.
That's going to be a colorful text message.
He came over and did. He came over and did crabs too.
No, I know. I heard.
He's brought his dog. It was fun.
I know. I got
little guy.
I got to work on little Jake. I've been passed up. Ryan's his new favorite.
He loves Ryan, but when he got dressed up for his graduation, he did. he named you, man. But the Setting the Edge show, I mean, I don't want to throw too much out there because he's not here to talk about it, but that's going to be a good show.
Oh yeah, I want to come be a guest on.
That's what we were talking about beforehand. You're going to be able to handle the guest couch.
Oh, more than happy.
I can see that too.
I can just throw in some. I can just degrade y'all from the sideline.
we got Ryan's going to be doing his show, and then the other show that we're putting together right now, which we've got to get this soon. We got to get Shank back in because
oh yeah,
I do mark on Shank a little bit. I love Shank.
Oh yeah,
and then Roosevelt.
Got to get Roosevelt in here.
I can't
Everybody
wait,
will love
man.
Roosevelt.
Yeah, I mean I'm all about this.
No, he's the man.
Yeah, so that's what we're efforting on right now.
That'll happen. He wants to come do it.
Yeah,
he wants to come do it. We just got to set it up.
Yeah, we'll do that soon. I'll make sure there's enough beer on the keg, and and there's always going to be something to talk about. And the crazy thing is that we have literally like another month and a half before shit really picks up. So we got to take advantage of it. You know what I mean? Because once we get to like football, we won't have time to have as much fun. You know what I mean?
We got to get the personal stories,
yes,
old school stuff.
Yes, that's what I mean. Like we got like a month and a half, maybe a little over that, to just kind of where you can come in and just freestyle.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like when SEC Media Days happens, it is a sprint.
God, I'm so ready.
I am too, man. Like, think of the schedule. I ran into some people from Wisconsin the other day, and I'm like, "We're coming your way. We'll see you guys. Get your spotted cow beer ready. Your cheese curds, because we're gonna come. We're gonna drink all your spotted cow beer, and we're gonna eat your cheese curds. We're gonna have a good time hanging with you guys. So, well, anyway, any final thoughts?
Next one. No, not too much actually. My Evansville team got beat last night. I guess I'm pulling for Kentucky now. That's what I told somebody the other day. I was like, I guess I'm pulling for Kentucky. That's the team I hate the least in the SEC, and I need somebody in the SEC to win. So
that'd be a great story.
Why not the Wildcats?
That'd be a great story. It really would. And they're kind of that team in the conference that has had a great season. I think they tied with Tennessee or they were like a game back or whatever. I think they tied with Tennessee, right, for the conference championship. And then they just took care of business. They beat all the teams they had to play. There wasn't a whole lot of drama.
Yeah, they're playing tonight too, I think.
No, they're in.
Oh, are you sure?
Yes.
They play earlier today?
The only game that's left.
They played late last night.
They played late last night. The only game that's left, NC State against Georgia. Who you pulling for?
I'll pull for Georgia in that.
Okay. All right.
I'll pull for Georgia.
Begrudgingly.
Yep.
Begrudgingly. I'll do it for the conference.
Yep. I'm a company man.
Yeah. Sign me up. Well, guys, look, don't forget that our show is brought to you by our great friends at MyBookie. We've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino canceled because real life came calling. MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. The MyBookie Casino provides a Vegas-style experience when the action is in your hands and you don't even have to wear pants. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code NEXTROUND. And a revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. The more you play, the more you win with MyBookie. And I say that, and I didn't bring this up. You got some gear. I want to leave it at this, but something about this hat tells me like that screams Jake Coker. Is that
I do
a camo?
like the hat, but I know where you're going with this.
Is that a camo that you wear? Like is that blend?
I love some old school camo.
Is that old school right there?
I do. I'm very
That's not
particular about my
mossy
hats.
oak, right?
I'm sure I know Mossy Oak's got old school camo like this. It honestly looks more like the new like task shirt camo.
I mean, that's great. Like that. Look, you're gonna love that.
Pull it off.
Yeah.
Pull it off.
I love those Richardson hats anyway.
Yeah, I do.
Which are cool. Like they fit good.
I'm not a big flat bill guy, but these actually end up bending a little bit over time.
Yeah. You're already like eyeing it up. Like when you're in your like duck stand or whatever, I'm gonna get in there and kind of just work it a little bit.
But you remember like the early, I think it was like, I guess it's like the mid 2000s. And they used to all the teams, they'd roll out there. I mean, this one's got a little bend to it,
Yeah.
Like in the late 2000s, everybody was rolling.
You had them like this.
Well, no. When the flat bills first came out,
you talking about flat bills?
There wasn't the slightest bend in those hats. Everybody was rolling out there like Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
I wasn't on that flat. I wasn't on that train.
I've never been on that train, to be honest with you. But I appreciate it. Like if that's, I don't have the right head for that.
You know what drives
You know what I mean?
You know what drives me crazy now.
And
it's.
We're going overtime.
Yeah, we are.
Let's just go overtime.
I'm about to wrap it up, but
yeah.
the freaking
let's go overtime.
The elbow pads, the freaking shin guards, the sliding glove. The sliding glove may be the softest thing I've ever seen.
Now, these guys, they have they get hit on the elbow guard and they're all mad. It's like, man, you got a body armor piece, man. Like, come on.
Oh yeah, they got about 6 chains on. They got. I don't know how they play. I don't know how they move.
I don't know. Do you remember Mr. T?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he had a lot.
Oh yes.
All right, we'll get back together later this week. Probably Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
All right, guys, get in the comments section. Tell us what you think. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. We appreciate all of you guys. And again, for Jake, I'm Mick. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.